Hello, YouTube. This is Whiskey and Jones. We are two old men looking for some sort of an excuse to continue to play video games, which has gotten us to the point that we have decided to start a YouTube channel so we can make up the fact that we will eventually make a little bit of dollars and our wives will let us continue to play the video games that we love.
Yep, that's right, Jones. And Whiskey here. Just like he said, we like playing video games. We're a couple normal guys. Have a family, have jobs, don't have 8 hours a day to play games, but we still enjoy it. And that's what our channel is going to be about. It's going to be about how to get the most out of playing the games that you like when you don't have that much time to put into it.
Yeah, the key is optimization. So if you're optimizing your time on these games, you can end up still doing that max level content without spending the amount of time that some of the hardcore guys are spending. So the goal is to give you guys as many options as possible and tell you how and why we're playing what we're playing, so that way you can sort of see, if you're more of a casual gamer like we are, the parts of the game that we focus on to maximize raising our light level in Destiny or any other game that we're playing at the time. You can see the clip we're playing right now is a gambit match that Whiskey and I were playing last week.
Yeah, this was an awesome match. We actually got the triumph where we drop the whole team drops 15 modes together. That was pretty sweet. But, I think, it's important to remember that we're all playing these video games because they're fun. And we like having fun with it. And although we, and hopefully all of you guys watching our channel, don't have the, 6, 8, 10 hours a day to play, we still want to enjoy these games just like everyone else. So that's what we're going to try to talk about. And that's what you were just saying is, how do you optimize your time so that it's not just about ignoring the content and racing through it, but just if you've got a list of things that you can do in a given week, what will the priorities be so that you can level up and win? Obviously, winning's fun and games are fun, so we want to win and get the good gear. But how do you do that and still have only use a little bit of time?
And I'll also say our goal is to post 1 to 2 videos per week. We are not just Destiny players. We do have quite a few different games that we play. In the past, they tend to be loot shooters, so Destiny type games. The Division, we're super excited about Anthem coming out.
Yep.
In the past, World of Warcraft, RPGs, various things like that.
Yep.
We both have families. We both have kids. Our kids play a lot of games. You'll probably see a couple posts every month about what games our kids are playing. And as you can see, that particular match, the two guys dropped off at the very end. So,
yeah, we smoked them.
Yeah. It was bad enough that they ended up quitting. Another thing that I personally like is the technical aspects of the game. So when you start going through and you start saying, well, if you like pulse rifles, which pulse rifle is the best pulse rifle, which pulse rifle has the least kickback, which pulse rifle hits the hardest, various things like that.
Yeah, and we'll, this being our intro video, we'll go into some games that we like and talk a little bit more about those, I think. But yeah, our goal would be to as we get guns and different gear and talking about the pros and cons and optimizing, again with the mindset of being a casual player and how to still have fun with it and optimize the best you can if you're not the hardcore gamer.
So the one thing about Destiny right now, in my opinion, is we're at the end of a cycle. And due to the fact that we're at the end of a cycle, the vast majority of casual players have dropped off. So if you're jumping into a game like Destiny right now, and you go into a Gambit match or a Crucible match, unless you're a pretty hardcore player and really damn good, you're probably going to die quickly and a lot.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot lately. A lot of the matches are preformed groups, people in the same clan, a lot harder for the solo player to jump in and have a good competitive match.
So last night I jumped into 6 Gambit matches. I was a single player jumping into 6 different ones. Every single Gambit match that we did was a preformed group of either 3 or 4, and we lost every single one of them. Only one of them was even close. And while I'm not the greatest player, I'm not a bad player. I mean, I was easily getting 30 to 40 kills and, somewhere in the 25 to 35 moat drops per round. Yet we just get absolutely murdered.
Right.
And you watch these preformed groups go in there, and they know how to burn a boss in 5 seconds. So let's switch over to...
let's talk about some of the other games. We talked about Destiny, and I would agree. The status of Destiny right now, it's putting us in a position where it's I don't want to say it's dead, but the content is a little dry, and it leaves me anyway, kind of, I want to play because it's still fun, and I like playing with a group of people, but I'm excited about some upcoming games. And you touched on it earlier. The first one I think that we are really excited about, and it's right around the corner, is Anthem. We can keep...
So this is the 15 minutes of Arcanus gameplay with the IGN version of the video. Personally, with everything that I've seen, I am a huge Colossus fan. The Colossus looks amazing.
You see this on screen right now? This is going to be me. I'm looking to go full storm and just rain down that, elemental?
The elemental
yeah,
stuff
the
that
AoE.
goes down.
Yep.
See, I just want to go punch people in the face,
Yep.
personally,
So,
it just reminds me of a Striker Titan.
Yep. So this type of game is a good example of some of the types of games that we're into. Obviously, for those that don't know a lot about the game, it's a third person loot shooter type game where you're in an exosuit that's called Javelins. And there's 4 classes, and each one has its set of abilities, different grenades, different support abilities, and then super abilities. So as you're looking now, we're seeing an Interceptor, which has a lot of melee, close quarters combat type damage class.
So the other interesting part of the game itself is when you look at there's the Colossus again. That's my personal favorite.
Yeah, that shield, pretty sweet.
When you look at the game from the standpoint of the loot, there's going to end up being 2 different pieces of armor, 1 support piece, and 2 weapons. And it's the same style as Destiny from the standpoint of there's different levels of each of the gear pieces that you can get. You can get the lowest level, which in Destiny would be like a blue piece versus a purple piece versus the yellow rolls. So the same sort of style upgrade of each of how hard it is to get the gear piece, but then you can also level the gear piece up. So from the standpoint of how the game operates, it's going to be very similar to the loot shooters that are out there right now that are our favorites, which is Destiny and the First Division. And we'll talk about the Division 2 here in a little bit as well, too, and see some gameplay of that as well.
Yeah, let's look at what we're watching on screen. As we're talking through some of that gear, one of the things that's just sweet is the Iron Man-ish flying around to this real these enormous 3D maps. In comparison to a Destiny map, it's something that's, I want to say, like, I'm approximating here, but something like 10 times the size of the EDZ in Destiny. So the having all that space and a real open world concept where you're literally flying around, going wherever you want.
Well,
That's awesome.
To me, the key is the story. So from the standpoint of, is it going to be a BioWare game?
Sure,
right?
Of course. That's everyone's question.
Because if it's a BioWare game, there's going to be tons of story, and I love BioWare games with all the storylines. So if you can mix the amazing first, third-person shooter value of Destiny and what that brings, and the fun that brings, into a set of Iron Man suits with a awesome, amazing gameplay storyline, I think you have a winning game. So the big question for me, when the game first comes out, is how good is the storyline going to be? Because if the storyline is like Destiny 1 when it wasn't that great, or even Destiny 2 before they came out with Forsaken, because in my opinion, Forsaken was the one that saved Destiny 2. The beginning of Destiny, while the first 4 hours of story was amazing, the game was basically done at that point. And that's a fantastic ad. So there we go.
Yeah. We just got someone else's ad on ours.
Yeah.
So that was a free ad. All right. I agree on your story. The importance of the story is definitely there. The other thing for me is does the game make you want to continue playing it? The replayability. Yeah. So for a campaign mode type story, that's one thing. But I hope that it's not a one and done, and that it gives you that replayability. But I think we'll probably there's going to be many more videos upcoming about Anthem before it drops, and I'm sure we'll go into a lot more detail on the loot that we're expecting, a little bit about the gameplay, maybe some info on classes, but this is just kind of a highlight into the kind of games we like, and this being one that we're excited about. So
let's talk a little bit about the next one we're excited about, which is the Division 2.
Absolutely.
So this is the gameplay that was released for the Division 2, and it's very, very similar to the Division 1 from the standpoint of the overall flow of the game, from the overall, what you're doing. You're going to go from hide spot to hide spot. You got to sprint, you got to slide. You have a variety of weapons. You have specializations that are key. My personal favorite part of the Division was the specialized armor sets that you could get that were extremely specialized for one particular type of gameplay.
Sure. Yeah, it was really cool with that game to go through the different builds and setups to really make your character or your guy stand out in a particular style of fighting.
Now, I will say that compared to the Division 1, the graphics on this look utterly amazing. This looks a lot better than the Division 1 graphics. And the thing that I'm waiting for is I'm one of the idiots who ends up going out and buying the game system the day it comes out. So the minute PlayStation 5 comes out, I will go and buy one. And whatever games we are playing at that particular time, I'm assuming that they'll have those top title games out for PlayStation 5, which will then force me to spend even more money to rebuy the games that I already own.
Yep. That'll be fun.
Can't wait to spend more money on crap that I shouldn't. But overall, this game looks amazing. If you love the first version of it, and the fact that they ended up, when it first came out, it honestly was okay, but it lost its thrill pretty quick on the first version.
Right.
And then it was out for, almost a year, and then all of a sudden they came out with that last big patch they did, which just added an enormous amount of not just hardcore content, but overall it added a lot of replayability to the game, and I think it saved it, and it made it a lot of fun to play again.
Yeah, and at that time it hit a good window for people that like these kind of games. That patch or the changes that they made landed at a good spot because some of the other games were kind of slow and people jumped right back into this, and it was a lot of fun. So I think you know, hopefully you can see that the style of game that we tend to gravitate towards are these type of loot shooter games where there's a competitive and cooperative aspect where we're on a team. So you're playing with some of your friends, cooperative, and, you know, working towards the same goal. Leveling up, gearing up, going on the missions, and just, you know, spending a couple hours a night having fun.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening to our first video. We hope you hit the subscribe button and like down below. And
Yeah.
we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks everybody.